Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. In yesterday's lecture, we observed the political, social and economical condition of Arabia. It was an attempt to study the past of the Arabian society. An attempt has been made in the foregoing pages to portray the general state of Arabia in the lifestyle of Arabs before Islam. Students, this portrait is authentic as it has been drawn from the archives of the pre-Islamic Arabs themselves. Judging by this portrait, it appears that Arabia before Islam was without social amenity or historical depth, and the Arabs lived in moral bankruptcy and spiritual servitude. Life for them was devoid of meaning, purpose, and direction. The human spirit was in chains and was awaiting, as it were, a signal to make a titanic struggle to break loose and to become free. In the present lecture, we will study and observe the religious condition of Arabian society. Now let's see. The period in the Arabian history which preceded the birth of Islam is known as the times of ignorance, yani jahiliya, ya dore jahalat. Judging by the beliefs in the practices of the pagan Arabs, it appears that it was a most appropriate name that is given to them. Arabs were the devotees of a variety of religions which can be classified into the following categories. In number one category, we can put idol worshippers or polytheists. Students, as you know, that the most of the Arabians were idolaters. They worshipped numerous idols, and each tribe had its own idol or idols. They had turned the Kaaba in Mecca, which according to tradition had been built by the Prophet Ibrahim salam and his son Ismail salam, and was dedicated by them to the service of one God. Into a heathen pantheon housing 360 idols of stone and wood. The main idols that were there, the Kaaba. In fact, the Kaaba, the house of Allah, was adorned with 360 idols. Hubal, Lat, Manat, and Uzza were the principal god and goddess of the Arabs. They even worshipped the pieces of stones, trees, sand, heaps, and a pile of wooden sticks. The biggest idol, Al-Hubal, it was pasted at the wall of Kaaba. Uzza, which was called the goddess of sun, power, strength and prestige, placed on the right side of a way near Mecca, which led to Iraq. Isaf and Naila, located beside the door of the Kaaba. Lat, worshipped by the people of Taif. Wad, worshipped by the tribe of Kalb in Dumatul Jandal. Nasr, worshipped by the tribe of Himar in Yaman. Manat, one of the oldest idols erected between Medina and Makkah on the shore of the Red Sea. It was venerated by all, in particular by Al-Ams and Al-Khazraj tribes of Medina. Almost every family in Makkah had an idol in their house which was worshipped, and whenever someone wanted to go on a journey, the first thing he would do was to stroke it, and so would it be done when he returned from the trip. These Arabs worshipped their idols with special rites and ceremonies: camel, goats, sheep, and sometimes human beings. Even human beings were sacrificed to them. Their blood was poured on the altar, and the worshippers danced around the idols. Pagans believed that if they kissed the idol, they would acquire holiness. They also believed in jinn, and they thought that malicious jinns inhabited deserted places and paths, while good jinns resided in the populated area. These jinns. The second group was composed of the materialists and believed that the world was eternal. They were called atheists. Third one, Zindiqs. They were influenced by the Persian doctrine of dualism in nature. They believed that there were two gods representing the twin forces of good and evil, or light and darkness, and both were locked up in an unending struggle for supremacy. As we learned before in second year, that these two gods were named Yazda and Ahriman. Fourth one was Sabines. They worshipped the stars. Fifth number, Jews. When the Romans destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD and drove the Jews out of Palestine and Syria, many of them found new homes in Hijaz, in Arabia. Under their influence, many Arabs also became converts to Judaism. Their strong centers were the towns of Yasrib, Khaybar, Fadak. Sixth one is Christians. As I told you, that the sixth religion of Arabian society was Christianity. The Romans had converted the North Arabian tribe of Hassan to Christianity. Some clans of Hassan had migrated to and had settled in Hijaz. In the south, there were many in Yemen, where the breed was originally brought by the Ethiopian invaders. Their strong center was the town of Najran. Seventh number is monotheists. There were a small group of monotheists present in Arabia on the eve of the rise of Islam. Its members did not worship idols, and they were actually the followers of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. The members of the families of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the future prophet, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, the future caliph, and most members of their clan, Banu Hashim, belonged to this group. Dear students, prior to the rise of Islam, vast anarchy and confusions prevailed in the religious life of the Arabs. There were some Jews and Christians in Arabia, but they had become corrupt and demoralized. So Judaism and Christianity could not hold any higher religious ideal to the Arabs. Expecting the Jews and Christians, the rest of the Arabs followed the most primitive form of religious belief, and they were idol worshippers, adoring many gods and goddesses. Every family, tribe, and city had its own god and goddesses. Kaaba, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was filled with different idols. As I mentioned before, that 360 idols were there. Once in a year, the Arabs from the different parts of the country came to pay their homage to the gods in the Kaaba. And I mentioned the name of these gods as Hubullah, Mana, Uzza were the principal god and goddesses. As I told you, that they even worship pieces of stone, trees, and sand heaps. The religion of the Arabs was, however, a matter of form only. They followed it because their forefathers had done so. These Arabs did not feel any spiritual impulse in the observance of their religion and has no genuine devotion to the deity. It was more of a matter of convenience rather than of conviction to them. A certain Arab named Imrul Qais, said to have kicked down the oracle god as it did not respond to his interest. The real condition of the Arabs during Ayam Jahiliyyah, or as we said it, the Dore Jahiliyyah, have been well expressed by Jafar bin Tayyar, the spokesman of Muslims, immigrants to Abyssinia, in the reply of the query of her king. He said to Negus, Jahiliyyah people were we, worshipping idols, feeding on the dead animals, practicing immorality, deserting our families, and violating the covenant terms of mutual protection, the strong among us devouring the weak. Such was the state when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent unto us a messenger. In this period of religious anarchy and confusion, There was, however, a feeling of a spiritual awakening in Arabia. A few people felt the barrenness of idolatry and sought for a higher spiritual life. They then demoralized Judaism, and Christianity could not satisfy their spiritual life. The then demoralized Judaism and Christianity could not satisfy their spiritual yearnings. The Hanifs, Barqa bin Nawfal, Usman bin Huram, Ziyad bin Amr, and Abu Anas represented these feelings and yearnings for a better religious and social order. When such was the condition of Arabia, the great Prophet Muhammad ﷺ of Islam appeared with his universal message of peace, order, and brotherhood to the people. In Quran, Allah says, "Verily those who believe in Allah and in His Messenger Muhammad ﷺ, and those who are Jews and the Sabans and the Christians and the Majus and those who worship other beside Allah. Truly, Allah will judge between them on the day of resurrection. Verily, Allah is over all things, is a witness." Allah Hafiz.